family built, culture driven, performance and quality proven. Maximum Radio.
On the Block is now on Maximum Radio,
where we discuss
entertainment, culture,
news, relationship matters.
So come and join me, Christy D,
and me, President Bear of the Golden Songs.
On the Block, Monday to Friday, 4 to 6 p.m. Come let we talk.
Maximum Radio, man. Yeah.
Good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago, my Maximum Radio family. This is your girl, Christy D, on a beautiful Tuesday. Now, today was supposed to be a relaxing Tuesday, and I think I made a boo-boo because I caused quite a stir this morning, and for that I do apologize. But what I can appreciate is that the loyal listeners of Maximum Radio have opinions.
Yes, they do.
They are not afraid to share their opinions. They are not afraid to be part of the conversation. They were ever so respectful because I had my disclaimer set. I had a clipboard ready to let people know, hey.
Yeah,
don't bully nobody, don't book nobody. And I just had to clear my clipboard because the loyal listeners of Maximum Radio have class.
Yeah, they do. I mean, come on, there's an educated bunch here.
Right?
Good afternoon, everyone.
So I do appreciate the conversation that took place during the course of today. It was supposed to be nice and easy Tuesday. I should have waited for Bacchanal Wednesday, but that was just me being a little fidgety, right? So I do apologize. That could have been from a job. I got a little excited.
Yes, ma'am. So
if I agitated your nice and easy Tuesday, you're welcome.
Roger that.
So, as I just identified, I have taken my second dose of the Sinopharm vaccination.
Congratulations! Welcome to the land of the living.
I am just waiting on my Royal Castle delivery from a certain cool DJ who might be in the mood.
A certain radio personality
to send forward my wing special order that I've been waiting for ever since. But I digress. So on the heels of what is taking place right now in Trinidad and Tobago, wherein certain more industries are
all over the world.
Yeah, but specific to Trinidad and Tobago, where we have more of our industries reopening. We would have seen the reopening of the retail industry as of Monday, and then we have the personal care services opening the following Monday to come.
Right.
The mantra has been, if you've been locked in here in Trinidad and Tobago, you cannot turn left without hearing vaccinate to operate.
Right.
So it appears as though some members of our population are doing just that. And to them I say kudos. For the others who have made the conscious decision not to take that route, I also say kudos, because it takes some level of gumption to go get the shot and just as much gumption to sit there and not.
Right.
I am not here to argue with anybody. I am not here to bully anybody. I just wanted to create a forum, an avenue wherein persons would have been able to ventilate, to voice their opinions in an arena where they would not have had to create a fake profile, wouldn't have had to hide, deactivate their account, because if there's one thing they'll say is never to argue with anybody when it comes to politics, religion, and most recently we had to slice in gender assignment. Right? And now vaccination status. So again, for those who would have taken their jabs, like my good friend DJ Cool Moody, pleasant afternoon. And my co-host and myself. Yeah, I twitching. You understand? There's no scene. as we have on our next virtual concert coming up, I know for sure that DJ Cool Moody's got me with my wing special and extra fries. But no pressure, because I don't really like cold fries. So I'm not looking for Moody to get too nervous and bite in the morning and then see me till evening and we have a whole different drama. Yeah? Right. No beef over here. So in starting the conversation, I put out into a lively one of that. I put out into a Maximum Radio family chat today's question as to whether or not you as a parent or guardian would allow your child to get vaccinated. Will you let your child or children take the COVID-19 vaccination?
And it has to be put in perspective because it is the COVID vaccine specific because of the fact that it was allowed for emergency use. It's not fully vetted in the sense of other vaccines had a longer period to gestate. Right, so the COVID vaccine, because let me jump in before you say
it. Yeah, because you're kind of jumping a little ahead, but feel free.
I'll jump in. Right.
Hop.
For me, if I think I would allow my child to take the vaccine, knowing where we are in the situation. That's just Golan's house. Good.
Great.
Right.
So, at this time, we would have seen persons, being adults, clamoring to get the vaccinations performed as soon as possible so that they fall within that realm of being fully vaccinated. For as it is said, when you have your 2 doses, based on the type of vaccination that you'd have taken, you are not necessarily classified as fully vaccinated until 2 weeks post your last dose. With the different industries being able to open, employers were at this time utilizing moral suasion to get their staff to vaccinate to operate, which is, as I said, our new slogan here in Trinidad and Tobago and worldwide. We have not gone the American route of offering money, though I was waiting on mine. But the moral suasion worked, right? So you would have had the different industries calling out their workers, encouraging their workers to, hey, go get vaccinated so that we can operate, because the government is yet to create any legislation, any parameters, any framework wherein employers can or cannot do certain things as it pertains to persons being vaccinated. Right now, it is to each their own.
All right.
With the adults collecting their vaccinations, we now move towards the children of our nation. We started off with the elderly and the most vulnerable, and we moved to the rest of we. And then now we are at the stage of the kids, because we are seeing on the international arena that children are being affected. We aren't the only ones looking to have our kids back out to school. Hallelujah, praise God.
Right. I feel so in depth, but go ahead.
But there are other countries out there that are having their kids come back out, and as such, they've been exposed. Outside of just going back to school, the children are getting exposed, and they are, I don't want to say suffering, but they are experiencing the symptoms that come along with the COVID-19 virus. So in Trinidad and Tobago, the Ministry of Education has released a correspondence wherein they identify that in the Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education, would have put together the following arrangement for the administration of the Pfizer vaccine for persons within the ages of 12 to 18 inclusive. Right? Because it's been established that the Pfizer vaccine is the more acceptable vaccination for persons within that age group. All citizens resident between the ages of 12 to 18 inclusive are eligible to receive the Pfizer vaccine regardless of whether they are registered at schools. All eligible persons can walk in at any of the vaccination sites, which I will identify a little later, to receive the Pfizer vaccine with no appointment being necessary. Minors must be accompanied by one parent or guardian only, and said parent or guardian must walk with a form of identification, the birth certificate of the child or ward, and proof of relationship to child as it pertains to the guardians only.
All right.
The walk-in vaccination services will begin on Wednesday, August 18th, which is tomorrow, and including the weekends from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. at approximately 14 sites nationwide.
Yes, man.
We have the heliport in Chagaramas, the Costard City campus in Port of Spain, Napa, the Costard campus in El Dorado,
Right.
the Wallerfield International Raceway in Wallerfield, Arima, Larry Gomes Stadium in Arima,
All right.
the Duranta Gardens Community Center in Sangre Grande,
All right.
the Lance Noe Community Center in Toko,
All right.
the Diwali Nagar site,
Central.
which is Uriah Butler Highway in the Endeavour area, but that starts on Sunday, the 22nd
Right.
of August from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Additionally, there's the Attobolden Stadium in Couva, Pleasantville Technology Center, which is MIC in San Fernando, the Hansraj Sumer Singh Multipurpose Complex in Rio Claro, Mayaro Civic Center, and the National Energy Skills Center, which is the NESC in La Brie. Note, I called No Tobago centers, so I will have to revisit my earlier statement of nationwide to islandwide. These are the 14 sites that have thus far been identified as the venues wherein persons between the ages of 12 to 18 can get their vaccination. So this prompted my question of the day: would you get your child or children vaccinated? As it stands, we are in the month of August, and the Ministry of Education alongside the Trinidad and Tobago Unified Teachers Association are in talks as it pertains to how we as a nation move forward and create an environment wherein our children will be able to go back out to school in some way, shape, or form. As a parent myself, I would have received some of the different correspondences that are circulating wherein they identify you as a parent have the option to continue virtual learning.
Right.
Different standards or forms have like hybrid classroom sessions where there's some virtual, some in person. There would still be the element of sanitization in terms of having your child walk with hand sanitizer or some level of sanitizer,
Right.
to have on their person and in their vicinity or like on their desk and things like that. They would
Right.
have to wear masks that are labeled. Things like assembly will be no more. And I guess the physical
recess.
structure of the recess will be staggered.
Okay. Okay.
And
As a-
the physical positioning of a classroom would now change.
Layout.
I am not sure if we are gonna be taxed, let me say, for lack of a better word. You know, the PTA is gonna hit us up with regards to making a contribution towards plexiglassing.
Well, it's real barbecues now.
Yes,
It's real
but-
barbecue at the pass now.
Yeah,
It's curricula barbecue at the
but don't look for nothing to eat, because that means we gotta look for sponsor first. Just pass the money. But I guess that too will come.
Right.
And because of the fact that there is nothing on the legal front at this time that says that the child has to be vaccinated, because everybody's being very, very careful with their words,
Right.
right?
Yes.
There's nothing that says the child has to be vaccinated for COVID to return to school and things along that lines. But you get the sense that it's lingering there.
Right.
So I put the question out into a Maximum Radio family picnic this morning.
Yeah.
And I got a range
A
of
range,
responses. Now, as I told you, I was scared. I ain't gonna lie to you, I was scared.
So good afternoon. Big up RT. Big up Trevor G. Big up Delana. Keep listening. So even the artist make a little mention. She even said that she not too sure about, she not too comfortable giving permission for her kids to be vaccinated. So she weighing in on the topic of today.
Yeah. So as I was saying, I was scared because it's a sensitive topic.
It is.
And we've started to head down the road of whenever the conversation starts, persons attack the jugular. You understand? From referring to people as sheep or uneducated because of a particular decision, things along that lines. And I mean, it's not necessary, right? We are all in a position at this point in time where as an adult, you have the right to choose. And we all know that with every action, there may be a reaction, but there will definitely be a consequence.
Yeah, I mean, it is. And as we say, we're not trying to bully anybody, and we don't want anybody to bully anyone into making a decision any which way. But I am a proponent, and my opinion is I'm a proponent of have the facts and be able to back your position with facts. Don't just do things because a TikTok video tell you to do it, or the BBC, sorry to say it, the BBC say we're doing that. You do your research, and I am happy that there are a lot of people now doing research, but don't just do it on the surface because you're here, you're like President Burr, I come and say, burn out that thing, and you burn out the thing. Don't just do it so,
Unfortunately, or fortunately, however you choose to look at it, globalization has really rammed us with information, right? If you had even the slightest fear from the time you click that Google search engine, you are liable to have self-diagnosed pancreatic cancer, a brain tumor, 1 week to live, and forwarded an email to your boss to say deuces. So you have to be very careful. But outside of being very careful, you have to have some level of confidence in the decision that you make.
Yeah.
Because in speaking to some persons today, when I asked the question, I got the off the bat response is no.
Not me.
I'm not exposing my child to that, and I'm not exposing my child to this, and I'm not exposing my child to the other. And it's nice to know that persons are woke. All right? No, the world is woke. Right? We have a great flood of responses as it pertains to not wanting to inject your child with this and inject your child with that because you hear this and because you hear that.
But it's good, the mama.
So
The response is good. Protect your children, and I respect that. That's cool.
So I asked the question, if as a parent, when you became a parent for the first time, were you this woke? Because I could only speak for myself when I had my daughter and the clinic said, come back here in 2 weeks. Come back here in a month's time. Come back here when that child is 1. I looked at my calendar, I marked it down, and I set a reminder, and I got myself there. I did not question what was being injected into said infant, newborn. I did not question what was being put into my body either. And the consensus was, during the course of this conversation, is that what we would have gotten would have been time tested.
Right.
I get that. I completely get that. If it is that I've seen 15 generations taking aspirin and they've all lived to tell the tale, maybe aspirin ain't that bad. However, I then asked, who is to say the aspirin that I getting right now is the aspirin that saved Granny back in her time? We don't know. But we could confidently say aspirin is a boss.
Yeah. And it all comes down to, as I say, trusting and learning some measure of discernment, because it is not as and when it pertains to your children, you put up an extra block because I always hear parents say things like that. But no, I go take it. You see my children, like we don't go through that. See my child, I ain't taking that.
So you went on the perfect tangent.
Yeah.
In another group setting, I asked the same question. It's a group of moms, and I put forward the question. People were hesitant to answer because I'm telling you, it's a topic that can get you heated if you wanted to. Right? When it comes to asking people what they're doing and do with their children, and then you have a response and it's not in line with what they're thinking, automatically for some, it goes down the path of, well, it's my child, I can do what I want. Right? That wasn't the intent. So for anybody whose feathers I ruffled this morning and during the course of the day up to 4 o'clock, I do humbly apologize. It was just to provoke a level of discussion and thought that I think we are missing at this point in time.
Yeah, and that is the truth. That is the truth. Everybody has a point that needs to be heard, and they want to convince. Nobody wants to like go out and simmer and get other points of view and weigh the facts and from fiction. I believe this, so you have to believe it too.
Right.
Yeah.
So in the mom group that I posed the question in, I know one or two of them personally. So during the course of this entire month, the conversation was along the lines of vaccines, because we don't go on and start to buy uniform. I ain't gonna lie. You know, Ministry of Education sent me something, and I am of the stern impression that school opening in September for the level of which my daughter is in, and I am buying school uniforms.
Right.
So having these conversations over time and being able to express yourself in a safe environment, it came up wherein one person said if she had thought about it a little bit more, she would not have done it.
All right.
So she would have taken the vaccine in the early iteration of it being available to the regular masses, because she doesn't fall within the elderly or the, right. So she took the vaccination, and she's now suffering from some sinus issues.
All right.
Of course, at this junction, anytime you take the vaccination and your fingernails growing too long is because of the vaccine, right? So the causation versus correlation, I'm not sure, but that's what she said. So she's taken the vaccination and is now suffering with some sinus issues that she did not have before, and she's quite annoyed. She's quite annoyed. She's on some medication, and well, you know the look of leprosy that you get right now if you sneeze in public. It's not easy. So she's quite annoyed. And in conversation, she identified, if I did only know that this was gonna happen, I'd never take it.
Yeah.
All right, so that was said a couple of days ago. When I asked today now, would you let your child or children take the vaccination? Her response was, yeah, if it is that it's a requirement for them to go to school, sure, why not?
Right.
People are saying that in tying the vaccination onto these things, it's taking away people's rights.
Right.
I don't necessarily agree with that, because at the end of the day, as we like to say, we are a democratic nation.
Right.
But to me, as much as democracy identifies that we are all entitled to our opinions, it also has an element to it that states the majority rules.
Right.
Right?
And also I would better understand that as a government who's in charge of a country, a government cannot be deemed as irresponsible.
They have to look out for the majority.
So you understand? Yeah.
The collective.
Yeah.
And what you never hear persons saying when they say, so I gonna lose my work if I don't take the vaccine, so my child can't go to school if they don't get. You never hear them say, okay, fine, I'll homeschool Sam.
That's my thing. My thing is, people act as okay, you can't come in the school. It is, I mean, I know that people who were homeschooled, and you could homeschool. That's an option.
It's an option, but you constantly get bombarded with, you're taking away my rights. My child had to go to school. Yes. And as the pandemic has shown, school does not have to be governed by the Ministry of Education in terms of them having to be in a brick and mortar environment. There is a homeschooling system operating in Trinidad and Tobago. And you are within your rights to join it.
But they say right, and this is what people don't understand, right? If you don't want to be a part of this system, you can absolve yourself and say, you know what, I don't want to be a part of the system, and I off the grid. That is all fine. Go in the hills or stay in your corner. Don't partake in society. But if you know that you want to do that, there are certain things that you might have to do
and be a part of.
To be a part of this society. So I mean, that's what it is.
That if your opinion is not one that falls within the popular voice, do not present it in a manner that causes people to ignore it. Because unfortunately, for the persons who may have an opinion that is against the popular one at this time, what you're hearing is the rah, 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 and they deflect from the points that may very well be valid. And cause persons now to just focus on the presentation.
Yeah, true. So is in this time here now, especially, is less about what
you say
and
how you say it.
Because it's true. I mean, here's what happened to me. What happened to me is I get a lot of the TikTok videos, and for them I see TikTok like I shut down. Like I can't see, because my thing is
intelligence.
I don't see why you should go on TikTok. I mean, all right, you might be a TikTok user and have 20,000 followers, so that you feel that you could hit 20,000 instead of going on TV6 or Instagram.
So in defense of TikTok and those platforms, it's really about how you're able to structure your video, right? And then to the audience that you're able to present what you would like to have presented to. So you might be able to incorporate yourself into something in the background easier than if you went on a Viva video or something like that. So I am not bashing TikTok. Yes.
No, I'm not bashing TikTok.
When you see TikTok, you think folly, fancy, and fantasy. But there are important things that are disseminated via TikTok,
it's the same as Facebook. As I said, that's for me, right? When I see Facebook as a kind of social network. If you're not them sending something like, my birthday is tomorrow,
I have pie for sale.
I have pie for sale. I really don't want to make life decisions based on a video I see on TikTok or on YouTube. Although I would use YouTube as a point of reference. I say, oh, really?
Right.
You know, that's just me.
So you just might have to take some more time to really look at what is being said.
And that's why I say research for yourself.
We had videos sent via the WhatsApp chat from different medical conferences. We had, I don't want to call them memes at this point, but just screenshots of different things that would have happened in history, where it is that certain race would have been exposed to things under the guise of something else and all those other things.
Don't be afraid to say it, African people. Go ahead.
So, you good?
I get.
I might go for work.
I get. I mean, let me we had a whole.
I didn't vaccinate to go to court, bro.
We had a whole summer based on race.
I did not
Good.
vaccinate to go to court.
I get your point, lady.
So what I gathered, and I mean, if you're not part of the Maximum Radio
Group
WhatsApp chat,
you
I'd advise you
You can send a WhatsApp to 306-0721
to be part of the conversation.
Right? Or send a message or voicemail.
Because I personally would like to thank each and everybody
Yes, man.
on every side of the divide for making a contribution to today's conversation. I do. And as I started off earlier, I identified that I appreciated the fact that we did not
Keep it real.
We did not devolve into the name calling and things like that. People were able to have a safe arena to voice their opinions.
And that is...
And the common thread that I found in today's conversation was that it's a personal choice, right? It's a personal choice with its own consequences.
Yes.
And creating its own different avenues and options. So if at the end of the day, the government of the day says that children between age A to B need to be vaccinated to be able to go back out to school, and you take the option of not following that directive, you have to then look at the other options of probably educating your child on your own terms. And that may work out better. You just never know, right?
This is what I'm saying, right? Is they also say to go to school you have to wear the uniform. If you're not wearing the uniform, you're not going to get allowed to enter the school. And that is as much as it's not an invasive procedure and it does not interfere with your biology, it is something that if you don't have a uniform, we could send you home.
So
and
as they keep on saying, being vaccinated does not stop you from spreading it, catching it, this or that or the other. And using your analogy of the uniform not stopping Kim from learning more than
the other person.
Sam.
Yeah.
But it's a rule in place for order.
Right.
And if you are not pleased with the order that is put forward, you have options. Let no one make you feel like you don't have options.
Like you don't have no option. Like
right?
that's it. Like if they I know you have an option.
If the lawmakers get the opportunity to put something in place, you, dear citizen, have options. You have the option to identify your displeasure with the law that may have been created, and you have the option to not abide by it and face the consequences. And you have the option to remove yourself from, as President said, the grid.
Yeah, you could
and create your own laws towards you having as peaceful a life as you need.
The thing about it is, you can exist on this plane of existence. You can exist not comporting to the norm as it may. You can be. I don't use electricity. You can.
That Wi-Fi is causing cancer.
Correct. I don't use Wi-Fi. I don't have a smartphone. I don't eat meat. I do not eat cooked food. There are people who in Trinidad who don't eat cooked food.
So as we allow you to ponder on the points that we've brought up and the conversation that's been taking place all day, we're going to take a small break for the news and come back to continue this never-ending conversation as it pertains to COVID-19.
Nice and Tuesdays with the Golden Sound.
Do you know what it means to have a revolution? And what it takes to make a solution? When we're fighting against oppressors, oh yeah. Battling down depression. Oh yeah, now. Oh yeah, now.
time. You know this is time to change up and man a revolution. Tell me what I want mankind. You know say Jaja him give sight to the blind. You know this is the time for no to stop waste time. Stop waste time on the borderline. Say man a do crime and them not see the sign. Come in sister time and tell them same time.
Are you ready to stand up and fight the right revolution? Are you ready to stand up and fight it just like soldiers? Many are called, few are chosen.
Tribute to the Crown Prince.
Many are called, few are chosen. Oh yeah, no. Oh yeah, no.
Under one tabernacle, every man get together and to start the battle. A revolution, you know it a go up, man over against. You don't know them a go rotten. Well, let us unite, fool your two-faced. The war done ready to ignite, and you don't know the war is only for the right. Burning fire, blind Babylon, them sight. Time to stand up for the revolution fight.
Live forever.
Maximum.
Said you gotta love, 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 love each other. Said you gotta live, 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 live on forever. Yeah, yeah. Love, 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 love each other. Oh yeah.
We are living in the last days, fulfilling revelation. This is the battle of the Armageddon. Lucifer is fighting against Olympus' children. Yeah. But we gotta stand firm and stay strong together. Love, 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 love. Stay strong together. Live, 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 live on forever. Why, boy? Why, boy? We gonna live, 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 live on forever. Love, 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 love each other. We gonna live, 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 live on forever. Love, 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 love each other.
A situation we got to address. Oh, why them raping and killing we embrace? Me not understand them vibes and me not understand them ends. Like evil and wicked that run through them blood veins. Some of them go on like them immortal, like say them don't have no moral. What the hell them a think life gone and I blink you a real man, you a coward. Them rape a boy beat, woman mother a beat. We wrap them up and then we got the baby. No remorse with them, no chill, no mercy, no pity on them. Them white like them up on them. Pick up and defend all of the woman and them. No remorse with them, no chill, no mercy, no pity on them. Them white like them up on them. Pick up and defend all of the woman and them.
Listen, nothing no really support killing. But any boy, woman you fit. And then the boy rip a woman you feel. Tie him up and level it just. Tell me what the hell you want promote. My little sister them afraid to walk the road. We tell the dogs them buck him up and buck the code. And no remorses makes you all the load.
Cause some of them go on like them immortal, like say them don't have no moral. What the hell them a think life gone and I blink you a real man, you a coward. Them rape a boy beat, woman mother a beat. We wrap them up and then we got the baby. No remorse with them, no chill, no mercy, no pity on them. Them white like them up on them. Pick up and defend all of the woman and them. No remorse with them, no chill, no mercy, no pity on them. Them white like them up on them. Pick up and defend all of the woman and them.
Watch this one, boy.
Not spare them. for them don't have no moral.
With the hell them a think life gone and a blink.
Thinking a real man, you a coward. Them rape a boy feet,
Woman murder a feet.
we wrap them up and then we got to dead. No remorse for them, no chill, no mercy, no pity for them. Them white.
President,
Only thing with the vaccine thing I can't understand and why none of the government of the world ain't doing is nobody accepting liability for anyone being affected from the vaccine or not. Why is nobody taking accepting liability? Because remember all the other vaccine and thing there, if something happened to somebody, the hospital or whatever and thing we might get sued or whatever and thing they could get sued and thing, but nobody ain't taking liability for this one. I don't understand. Shed some light on this one, please.
So as we just heard a very valid question from one of our in-house DJs, DJ Links. Good afternoon, sir. As to why aren't those who created the vaccines willing to accept any liability as it pertains to any negative outcomes as a consequence of the vaccine? Now, granted, all of the other vaccines that we have in existence, as far as we know, have taken over time, you have that opportunity. You have that opportunity for redress.
Right. You could prove your case, and
once
you
you
can
prove your case, you have the ability to have whatever monetary compensations and whatnot, if it is that it's seen that what you would have consumed, ingested, taken, whatever, has caused some negative or adverse effect on your life. From the get-go of this pandemic, where those in authority would have been speaking about the need to find a vaccine as quickly as possible, we were told that we would have been able to get these vaccines within a short space of time once the companies that would have been creating them are not held liable for any outcomes, positive, negative, or otherwise.
There was absolved from any kind of redress.
That would have been the risk that the governments of the world were willing to take. Would we have been okay with a 15-year wait for any kind of medical treatment towards assisting persons suffering from COVID-19? Would we have been okay in a 30-year wait for medicine or vaccination prospects with regards to COVID-19?
Because you're talking about the real numbers. That's the real time that it would take,
Because based on a chart that was forwarded today, of which I had no time to fact check, they would have shown the different time spans of each vaccination that may have existed over the years. With them being a 15-year wait, a 30-year wait, and things along that line before the vaccinations were licensed and distributed for humans to use. So, earlier, during the conversation, that was a point that was brought up with regards to persons' hesitancy of taking the vaccination. That if the persons in charge were willing to take liability, that would comfort persons towards trying or being more willing in taking the vaccinations. I hear that. I've heard enough advertisements. Have you taken so and so? You are entitled to compensation. Call Jim, John, and Jerry.
Mesothelioma. that's one of the things that all of us. Let me just stick up in, right. Mesothelioma is a cancer that happened to a lot of men who worked on asbestos. Asbestos, as you know and I know, was something that was in every person's house.
Anything that had walls.
Anything that had walls was asbestos because it was a fire retardant, and we feel that it would have been safe. Only years later to find out that it causes cancer, and hence the reason why there is no longer asbestos in your home and
or
anywhere else.
Building structure.
So it took a couple of years, and I'm sad to say this, but a lot of people had to die for we to see where we erred as it pertains to that. That is only that. So I'm just saying on a parallel.
And is that not just the law of the jungle?
Yeah, it is. And I might think it is that. It sounds insensitive, and it feels as if, well, you don't care about the people who will die. Yes, I do care about the people, because the people who will die could also be me.
Correct.
I do care about the people who will die, but we ought to understand that this has been the process of our life forever. We used to eat any kind of fish in the ocean until they start having lead in it, and now we start to be careful of what we dump in the ocean. It is sad to say, but sometimes some things have to be left up to trial and error. I'm not saying, I don't want to sway nobody because of what I'm saying. I'm just saying this is something for you to think about and add it to the information that you gathering to make a more informed decision.
Right.
All right.
So then now we ask, why is it that we need the global enterprises to stand liability in order to do something towards our own well-being?
Well, I want to say this, right? It is a shift. The paradigm has shifted because every generation something new has entered, and this generation is the generation where this is me. I love to think of it as the me, myself, I know friends generation.
Wow.
That everyone looks that if you do something for somebody, it has to be either you want to benefit from my failure or success. So nobody can do anything for you out of just the love of humanity. And because of that, you find we make decisions based on
fear.
Yeah, just fear. And we're easily fooled. I'm sorry to say we're easily fooled. The more we seem to have the ability to research things now, is the easier we is to be fooled, because the people from the 50s and the generation from the 50s for the baby boomers, they would have not had all this other information on their fingertips.
Because the vaccine everybody was waiting for back then was the polio vaccine.
Right.
We had parents scared of the polio epidemics that occurred each summer.
Right.
They would have kept their children away from swimming pools, sent them to stay with relatives in the country, and clamored for an understanding of the spread of polio.
Right.
They waited for a vaccine, closely following vaccine trials and sending money to the White House to help the cause. When the polio vaccine was licensed in 1955, the country celebrated.
Right.
And Jonas Salk, its inventor, became an overnight hero.
Overnight.
So what I am seeing here is, because there are a lot of threads, that no matter your position, you cannot deny.
Right.
Everybody needed time. And unfortunately, time was one commodity we did not have.
Right.
We do not have. When you are seeing people dying by the tens, then by the hundreds, then by the thousands, tens of thousands, and you feel like you're going back to school to remember those denominations.
Yes.
You have to ask yourself, how long can we, the human race, wait? Can we not have faith in the fact that people are doing these experiments and these testings and all these things on a daily basis.
Yeah.
All towards in the event that something arises, they would not be starting from ground zero. Can we accept the fact that we educate and train persons within the medical profession not just to be practicing doctors and nurses or medics, but also theoretical doctors and medics and nurses and whatnot, towards creating these very things that we need sometimes in a hurry.
That is what critical thinking is.
Right? There are so many research projects that are out there that we don't even know about.
Yeah.
Right? For the conspiracy theorists out there who would have been able to go back and pull up Obama's speech about having the what was it?
Preparing for a global pandemic.
Right.
Yeah,
and his wording seemed so relevant from 5-10 years ago that you had to ask yourself, but hey, I feel it's America that do this thing.
They say hence the word pandemic. That's what it's called. A pandemic. Granted. Okay, good. I'm gonna cool it over the argument, because here's why I this is me personally have to express to everyone, right? If it is that you're saying that the science is bunk, then you have to say science is bunk for everything. The cell phone in your hand, the social networks you belong to, the food that you eat, yes, even this radio that you're listening to, the food that you eat all came from somebody had a plan and say, you know what, I'm gonna make millions. I'm gonna cause, this is the truth, and I didn't hear nobody jump out and say nothing about the food, right? I'm gonna cause heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, and I'm gonna give them this food, I'm gonna give them this junk food, I'm gonna give them this poison, and put a clown to dance and say, it's nice. Nobody have come to say it. Yeah. Nobody has said nothing. Correct. So I hear and I respect you looking out and you're finding the flaws. This is me. I understand that science is an ever changing, an ever evolving thing. So I know that yes, they're gonna say, yeah, we come up with it and we've cured, and then they find out 2 weeks after, I feel we make a mistake, and that's just what it is. It's just what it is. For me, I could sleep at night with that because I understand, right? That's for me. If you need more evidence, you do. But as I say again, try not to just because Buju Banton says something is the law for you. That's all. Research, because there's no excuse now for you not find out for yourself, and you proving for yourself what is fact and what is fiction.
Find one or more
sources,
when you are doing this research as well.
Yeah.
Because as my English teacher once said, the empty vessels tend to make the most noise.
Yeah.
They tend to have the most followers and they tend to have the highest, greatest, well-lit platforms.
So I am, and that's why I say I am thankful for the objections and the different perspective and even the truth in the sense of, they didn't tell you about this. Look at this, because you see what Links talk about the fact that nobody wants to take liability. That from the onset, I remember I see that clear. I say, then could it be poison, boy? Pfizer said that they have no problem doing it and they're not even going to charge full price. But we need to know that whatever we bring, we cannot be prosecuted for any adverse side effects. That was a thing for some months. And you know what? Warp Speed say, hey, we just fight down Trump and we fight down Trump. Trump say, hey, bring it. So I hear where you're coming from. I understand. I don't know. I can't speak for any sinister plans.
Of course. Well, there was a video.
Right.
There was a video.
Right.
Okay. So in case you didn't know, just scroll back up through the chat of the day. There's a video as it pertains to all the presidents that would have gotten assassinated, killed, or died all within a year of each other because they fought on the vaccination. But
that was it too.
What?
Okay. Yeah.
Anything can happen.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, as I'm saying, I'm not telling you what to do.
Correct.
All I'm saying that you should take into consideration the different sides of the argument and look at the evidence for yourself.
Good for you. Yeah. Right? As we said, every action has options.
Yeah.
Right? We know that some people cannot take the vaccines even if they wanted to.
Correct. We know that.
Does that then now make the vaccine null and void? No. Right? Yeah. There are some people that, for all we know, might become geniuses off of Sinopharm.
And another thing, how come nobody has said that? If you take that Sinopharm,
there's not going to be no problems.
If you take that Sinopharm,
you no longer want to be bilingual. You understand? So it's like everything has its pros and cons. We here at Maximum Radio, and in particular on the block, for as the disclaimer goes, the views and opinions expressed on the block are not necessarily the views and opinions of Maximum Radio and its affiliates. We are here to provoke these types of conversations.
Yeah.
And again, I want to say thank you to everyone that chimed in today in the most respectful of manners that I could not even anticipate.
Can I say good afternoon, Joash, Genesis Creations?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Joash. Thanks for listening, brethren. We love you, bad.
Good afternoon to everyone that made the comments today. Unfortunately, based on how I see the WhatsApp status, I'm not able to see names in particular. So persons would have made their comments and whatnot, and unfortunately, I cannot big you up. But you know yourself, you know the conversation that you had with Christy today and the rest of Maximum Radio, and for your contribution, I say thank you.
Right.
I say thank you for everyone that took the time out to think, who took the time to go YouTube and send me videos wherein my phone is now full.
Right.
I want to say thank you to all the parents, adults, citizens of Trinidad and Tobago who are out here trying to make our society a better place for us to be able to operate regardless of what the parameters or boundaries of that operation may be.
So I want to say good afternoon to Maro, Erlos 4.1. Thanks for contributing, brethren. Big up to Rose, Smalls, easy man. Big up yourself.
Good afternoon to Cookies Mike.
Cookies, easy Cookies.
He was in the chat all morning.
Thank you to Leon. Big up yourself, Leon. DJ Karim, can't forget DJ Karim, boy. Big up yourself, brethren.
I'm seeing a Miss Trisha.
Big up Trisha.
Afternoon.
Yes. Good afternoon.
All the persons, everybody that commented today.
Thanks a lot for
these are the kind of conversations that we will be having, because I mean, from the time Maximum Radio came into fruition, it's pandemic on the tongue. It's COVID-19 coming out from between the teeth.
Yeah, I mean.
So at this junction, it's a situation where sometimes you need somebody to talk to about these things, but you know for sure you can't bring this up in work. You cannot bring this up in a taxi. And you dare not bring this up on the side of the road.
Yeah. So
because right now people's emotions are running high.
And you have to choose your battles well.
Correct.
Choose it well. Don't go there trying to convince everybody, as I say.
Right. Time and place is very, very important. And here on the block, we invite you, bring your drinks, bring your seat, and come and let's discuss.
You can come and discuss it here. We are giving you free rein to have any discussion.
Any type of discussion within a respectful frame. For you to express your opinions, voice your thoughts. We want to hear what you're thinking because for all you know, we might have some really, really intelligent person sit down in this chat, though your WhatsApp name might be Sexy Cookie.
Yeah.
You just might be the genius that we're looking for.
So, so all I'm saying is you are free as long as you are respectful to make any kind of comments.
Come true.
Send any voicemail.
Bring your drinks and come.
Right. So we here to entertain, educate, and also inform.
So though today was nice and easy Tuesday,
we had
we shuffle it up a little bit.
Yeah, man.
Right? Because outside of the children being vaccinated, we have the issue of vaccination at the workplace.
Right.
And that's another one I will pick. I ain't gonna bombard all the nice and easy days.
Yeah,
but that conversation.
Heavy conversation, heavy.
Because all of we can make punch. All of we can sit down and make belly ball. Yeah. All of we can sell doubles. Somebody had to eat the doubles. Yeah, somebody had to go and work in FM to make the flour. Correct. Somebody had to be in the office.
Yeah, we all
somebody gonna have to take that vaccination. Part, if it is that the employer says you need to vaccinate.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everybody can't be out in the road here.
Right?
Who will make the toilet paper on that, right?
So, as I wrap up my contribution today for being on the block, we going and drive home. I just want to let the people know, just in case. Should in case on the drive home, I jump out for $2.
Where you jumping out? On a good one. Who did I stop in this car? On a goodness? You taking your exit.
I understand the struggle.
Well, yes.
I just had a face with this president.
Wait, just I just want to say, I was real nice. I think believe.
I had a good little English accent going on there. Whole shift. What? I just bring out the jamming. No, I do apologize. I feel like I took it a couple octaves there too high, but nonetheless, I appreciate you, Trinidad and Tobago, and all our Maximum Radio listeners. Ever so often, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to just drop a little topic there for us to discuss, because I kind of like all that. You understand? All that kind of has some vibes to all that, man.
That's fine. Hey, so the Maximum Radio family, hey, you know what? We're going to do some music and come back. I don't know what Christy will. She bringing doubles in it, right? But we're going to be back. We're going to play 1 or 2 and then we're back. Roger that. It's on the block. Gold and Sons with there.
Squibby's ice cream in the area.
Come and get that ice cream. Who say?
Yes, man. So here what? Today is Tuesday. And on a Tuesday, when you hear the music, look out Quarry Village, Santa Flora, all them areas, Laboratories, Palo Seco, look out. Squibby's ice cream in your area, ready for your serving your nice little creamers. And I tell you, ask for the ginger. Tell them President Burr send you for the ginger. So
ice cream in the area.
Come and get that ice cream. Who say?
Squibby's ice cream.
Come and get your ice cream. Who say?
Squibby's ice cream. Squibby's.
Ever faithful sound, strong sound, the golden sound, number 1 sound. Jam melody. Say wagga wow, yeah, aga yeah. Blessed is the sound, oh yeah. Blessed is the song, the golden sound, yeah. Blessed is the song that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly. Blessed is the song that abideth in Jah, King Selassie the Almighty. Hey, and he shall bring forth fruit into every season. Yeah, but they never rob and kill you for no reason. And then Babylon could never lock the golden sound in no prison. No. Hey, yeah, we got to be strong.
Turn up the volume loud. We're on Maximum Radio.